Happy Wednesday. This was really going to be the story I was going to do yesterday, but it just wasn't exactly ready yet. It wasn't exactly ripe. I was waiting for Biden to do what he did. The rumor was it's going to be $10,000, and now it's going to be $20,000 per student loan debt. He's forgiven $20,000 for people who probably hasn't even paid 1 cent back during the 2 years that the loans have been deferred. I don't agree with this, and I do know one of my listeners had issues with their student loans, and individually I could probably be accepting, but as a broad stroke, I don't agree with that. Now, I do agree with the deferred payment and be interest free, or the interest being frozen for a period of time. I do agree with that, because that gives the person that signed the dotted line a chance to make payments against the principal and lower the principal down. I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. When Trump did that, I agreed with it. When Biden kept on doing it, I agree with it. What I don't agree with it is a broad stroke of just canceling people's debt for federally backed student loans. I think it's unfair for the responsible people to do that. And as a champion of the cancel student debt, this came across my my Twitter world either yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Let's see what Elizabeth Warren has to say. It's kind of hard to hear, so let's hopefully goes through the video.
I was hoping to get your question. Yeah. I'm on Medicare and I'm having hard time.
Yep. I just want to ask one question. My daughter's getting out of school. I saved all my money. She doesn't have any student loans. Am I going to get my money back?
Of course not.
So you're going to pay for people who didn't save any money, and those of us that did the right thing get screwed.
No, it's not anybody got screwed. When we
Of
started,
course we did. My buddy had fun, bought a car, went on vacations. I saved my money. He made more than I did. But I worked a double shift, worked extra. My daughter's worksheet is 10. So you're laughing. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. We did the right thing, and we get screwed.
I appreciate it.
That's all right.
So if you did the responsible thing, you saved up your money, you paid off your debt, you get nothing. You get nothing. You don't get a refund. You don't get anything for being responsible. The people who were irresponsible, or the people that would be responsible, but they didn't get the opportunity to be responsible, will get their student loan debt forgiven. Yeah, I think it's what, $300 billion this is going to cost American people. $300 billion. Now, here's a Fox News opinion. I know that they're very biased when it comes to this. I know I'm very biased when I come to this. Student loan plan is a slap in the face to people like me. We don't need to transfer student loan debt onto other backs of everyone. Like I said, these people took their loan. They signed a dotted line. They went to their 4 years or 6 years or 8 years in college, couldn't find a job to pay it back, or they found a job but refused to pay it back. And now we, the taxpayers, are going to be paying the price. I don't know who said this, but hopefully it tells us. When I was 18 years old, I enrolled, actually, does it say who? Oh, Bethany Mendel, which is an opinion piece, don't get me wrong. When she was 18-year-old, she enrolled in Northeastern University and attended orientation before classes began of her fall semester of freshman year. She chose Northeastern because it offered the most generous aid package of any school. I'm not going to change the pronouns and I's, to which I was accepted. Over half of the scholarship, a part of the orientation weekend, Anyone taking out loans was required to attend a workshop on financial aid. As everyone else, I goofed off. I used the distributed worksheet to do some back of the envelope map and how my loans I end up and my repayment schedule would look like. I calculated the monthly payments, subtracted it from the estimated paycheck of $35,000, even considering withholding taxes or health insurance. I felt the color drain out of my face as I realized my payments would be half of my monthly income. I had no home to move back to after college. Unlike everyone else in the room, my mother was deceased. My father, an extended family estranged. I knew I would have made it my own 4 years, and I simply would be unable to do so if I stayed enrolled. At the end of the workshop, I approached my orientation leader and asked how I could drop out before I attended a single class. Spent the next 4 years between two different public schools working 40 plus hours a week in order to pay as much as my living expenses as I could, minimizing my debt load to the best of my ability. After graduation, I paid down all of my highest interest debt almost immediately, eating nothing but spaghetti and pizza to make it possible. It's probably not even good pizza or good spaghetti. I spent the next few years making every payment on time and in full until the loans were totally paid off. President Joe Biden announced a sweeping new debt relief program. Student loan borrowers. Fox News reported President Biden announced Wednesday that he'll cancel $10,000 of federal student loan debt for certain borrowers making less than $125,000 a year. $125,000 a year. Most people do not make $125,000 a year, as some knuckleheads saying that that wasn't wealthy. It is on the high end of middle class and the low end of upper class if you make $125,000 a year. I don't make $125,000 a year, and I make around 80-ish now. I should right under 80, between 75 and 80, I think, per year, and up to $2,000 for a Pell Grant recipient while extending the pause on federal student loans through the end of the year. So 20 grand Pell Grant recipients. So maybe 30, unless it's going to be combination of the two will equal 20. I don't know. The Biden plan is a slap in the face for people like me who sacrifice dream schools and picturesque colleges experiences in order to responsibly take out as little debt as possible and pay it down according to the terms we agreed upon when we signed on the dotted lines as legal adults. It's a slap in the face to most Americans who haven't taken out any college debt. According to a Pew, only 37% of Americans have a 4-year college degree, and about 13% have graduate degree. More than half of 56% of student debt is held by those who hold graduate school debts. According to the calculation, Biden's student loan forgiveness package will cost every American $2,000 in inflation. $2,000. So if you have trouble saving money, sorry, Biden said you can't save money. Because no, they're going to need that full $2,000 out of you. They need your pound of flesh. Taking thousands out of the pockets of blue-collar workers who paid their neighborhood law school debt. That's not to say that there's no solutions to the debt facing millions of Americans. But that doesn't mean that we need to transfer the debt of some onto the backs of everyone. BuzzFeed recently published 25 stories of everyday Americans crushed by debt, and they took on as part of their education. Several stories went along the lines. I graduated from law school with almost $400,000 in student loans. After 5 years of payment, my balance has increased to $500,000 due to interest. I make $70,000 before taxes per year as a public defender. If I can survive on this low of an income once I have a family to support, I plan on working as a public defender for 10 years so I can hopefully get my loans forgiven. If not, I fear I will die before I could ever pay them off. Instead of this wealth transfer, we should be having a conversation about reducing the inflation rates, pushing Americans underwater, as well as making sure more Americans don't find themselves in the same boat. For every one person that's this, there's about 2 or 3 people that are successful, and there's many more people who don't go this approach. I mean, it's really a small minority, unfortunately. It would also mean making schools, not students, nor the government, responsible for the default. It means making sure we're not pouring money into the economy already on its knees due to record inflation. There are any number of ways for Biden administration that could actually work towards solving the crisis. And if we were to focus on solutions, it would be a conversation we would having instead yet another financial handout to their wealthy base as elected season approaches. It's clear that their solution, what Biden administration aims to achieve from this announcement. And I don't have comments because I have ad blocker. But you should be pleased to know that the money that we're going to be spending, the extra $2,000 us responsible people are going to be paying, will give you a awesome class if you go to University of Austin. A Taylor Swift class is coming to University of Texas. Are you ready for it? Calling to all Taylor Swift fans, in your wildest dreams are about to come true. The University of Texas is offering a class on Swift this fall, and we hope that there's still a blank space on the roster. I mean, a good pun and word for one of her songs. English professor Elizabeth Scala will teach a class on Swift's songbook starting this month to the first-year undergraduates in liberal arts honor program. Oh, by the way, there's a Harry Styles in the University or Texas State University course. The new course is called Literary Contests and Context. The Taylor Swift songbook will be provided to students with an introduction to literary studies and research methods using her songwriting, according to a Facebook post by the UT English department. Let's turn that Easter egg hunting and reading in detail to academic purposes. The English department said in the post, Swift commonly includes hidden references in her lyrics and music videos about subjects of her songs and or future release albums. Scala said her daughter, recent college graduate, introduced her to the Swift after the release of the Red Taylor version in November. Scala said Swift is the focus of the class because she is an exceptional writer, creative talent, and sparks to her audience today in ways other artists don't. Swift is an intelligent and talented songwriter, and her writing skills are what made me focus on her, Scala told American Statesman. For me, it's all about the form, not just even the primary about the content. We will study Swift's song as poems and literary structures. The Swift class isn't the only way college students in Central Texas can study their favorite artists. This academy year, the Texas State University professor will teach a class on Harry Styles in the next spring for university honor colleges. This is what our $2,000 extra that we're paying a year is going towards. And there is no plan to fix the issue, by the way. There is no issue. I mean, there is no solution to fix the issue. They're going to keep on issuing the same loans. So in about 2 to 4 years, this is going to be another campaign topic of student loan debt, student loan forgiveness. And this is where parents today need to tell their kids that maybe college isn't for you if you can't afford it. Maybe you shouldn't take out the loan to go to your dream college. Maybe you should go to alternative schooling options, whether it's through community colleges, and see if that's something you really want to do at fraction of the cost so you don't go into debt. These are solutions that we must talk about. These are solutions we have to think about. Just every 10 years, canceling some debt out, making the rest of the taxpayers who were responsible pay for it. These are bad choices. You are rewarding bad choices by up to $20,000 per student debt, $10,000, no questions asked. In the period where you had 2 years of deferred payment, which means you didn't have to make payments, interest wasn't occurring, you could have paid that out. Now, there was one Twitter thread that kind of restored my faith in humanity a little bit more. Let's see. There was comment after comment after comment where people were voluntarily saying or making a claim that they paid down their principal during this 2 years, that they had to do it, and some of them paid off completely because it was interest free. They took advantage of this free gift that both President Trump and President Biden gave them, and they took the opportunity to pay off their debt. But yet they won't get rewarded. Just as Elizabeth Warren says, go screw yourself. She says, absolutely not. And kind of laughed at that person. The absurdity of him asking for a refund because they don't care. They don't care to help people. They just want to send a message. It's all for optics. And that's frustrating. That's the frustrating part. Because it's all about optics. And I just realized this is a 17-minute long video. So leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. Do you disagree with me? Do you think this is a good thing for America to take on? Is it a good thing for America to reward bad choices? Do you actually agree with me that deferment of payment, capping the interest to where none is being accrued, is also another good approach? So I agree with that. I agree with Trump when he did, and I agree with Biden did it. Leave a comment down below. Smash the like and subscribe button on any all platforms, or just the platform you're currently watching. If you find this entertaining, please share it with other people. With that being said, most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.